content on this channel is for entertainment and educational purposes only. We are, not a financial advisor, and nothing shared here should be considered financial advice, investment guidance, or a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. All trading involves risk, and you should always do your own research or consult with a licensed financial professional before making any trading or investment decisions. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Use the information here at your own risk.
Hi guys, today we're going to do the backtesting of August 2025 for Euro USD. So what are we going to look for? Right, so I have a session indicator that shows me every single session's time, right? So what do I wait for? I wait for a breakout, like this is a good example. This is the Asian session of Wednesday the 30th of July. I wait for a breakout of that session. I then wait for a reversal, a 5-minute reversal model, and I enter off the 50% fib of that trade, of that movement here, and then I take my sell. And the same thing happens now exactly for the taking out of the lower part of the Asian session. So what would have happened is if price, let's say, did this, right, broke out of the Asian session low, made a reversal, retest 50% of the fib, and then we take a buy here. You see exactly what's happening here at the top. We're looking for the same thing at the bottom of every session. All right, so that is short and sweet. What I do extra is take a look here at the rules. So we wait for a session high, in this case, to be broken. Then we wait for a new 5-minute higher low to be broken, which happened right there. So you basically start counting the new higher lows from the moment that we broke out of this session. You can count this as a low as well. That's fine, because it's inside the new session. It's inside the London session. Right, let's have a look here. You see, that's the latest new low that was created and broken. So we count this as the break, right? Now we must have an inverted fair value gap. So where's the inverted fair value gap? So this is actually a good example of, we don't have an inverted fair value gap here, right? So when we broke this, could we already start looking for a retest here? If price came to here, went up to here, then the answer is no, because there's no fair value, no inverted fair value gap here. But since we broke this low as well, we have a inverted fair value gap here. Now when price goes up, we can look for our entry. So what do? Draw a fib from the top to the bottom. We wait for a retest of the 50% level, and we enter our trade right there, right? So now what's part of our rule? We add 30 points to the stop loss. So we take that stop loss, we add 30 points, and we aim for 1 to 1.5 at least, right? Here we go. All right, and then there's a new rule that I added towards my entry model, and that is to stop 30 minutes before news to look for a trade. This is just to protect your capital, so that if the news happens, then it will go in a specific direction and it will take you out. This is to stop those kinds of moves, news moves, and also to protect your capital, because a prop firm rule, there's a prop firm rule that says you cannot trade during news events, right? So, and then the last rule, well, the two last rules, yes, to stop looking for new trades at 3 p.m. New York time. All right. And also no trade on Friday New York session. Friday London session is fine, but Friday New York session is out of the question. It's because the day will try to finish off whatever it tried to achieve during the week, and then there can be things that happen at like random times. So I want to avoid that kind of movement, right? So let's go. So another thing I'm trying to explain is that I'm also looking for entries based off the last order block of the entry model. What do I mean by that? What's the last candle here? What's the highest candle? Candle and candle week. It's this candle, right? This candle. Let me zoom in here. Do you see this candle? This one? That's the candle that touches the highest point of this entry model. So I also look for trades of that order block, and then I aim for 1 to 1.2 risk to reward. I also go to the same stop loss level as the other trade, into 1 to 2 risk to reward. There we go. In this case, we did not get to that entry. As you can see, we did not get to that entry. But there are other days that does work pretty well. In any case, that is enough for explanation of trades for the entry model. So let's move forward. Let's start with the backtesting. All right, let's remove all this. And let's start off on the 1st of August. Here's the Asian session. We're going to stop at 2 a.m., which is during the London session, start of the London session. All right, in this case, we're waiting for a break of the low or the high. In this case, the Asian high was taken. Right, let's move forward. All right, so the higher time frame that I'm going to be looking at is either the daily or the 4 hour. Let's look at the daily. So what do we have here? We actually have some form of a resistance level right there. Right there. Where's that line that I've just drawn? There at the top. Right, that's insane because we are not done with this day yet. I think it's because price is going to reach that level for some reason. It's fine. You know what? Let's do what we must, right? So let's mark out the other resistance levels that we might need to take note of. Alright, those are session high resistance levels. It's actually sad that the replay tool does this. Right, so let's look at the 4 hour. Okay, this is going to be much better. Okay, cool. So in this case, we have a 4 hour resistance level here. So we could reverse, or the next resistance level are here. And as I explained, there's a daily resistance level somewhere around here as well. So let's just keep that in mind. All right, let's move forward. All right, we don't have any fair value gaps, so I'm not going to count this as a low. It's very important that we must have an inverted fair value gap first before we look for a sell. So in this case, this sell is a no trade. We took out the session high, but where is the latest low inside the previous session? So we're not going to use this low, right? So let's move forward. Nothing we can do about that, right? Absolutely nothing. What did we do? Let's have a look. Remember, this is the Asian low, right? So just keep that in mind. There we go. We tapped the Asian low. Beautiful. So what are we waiting for now? We're waiting for a break of this high right here, because we have a fair value gap here. So if we close above this, this automatically becomes an inverted fair value gap. All right, let's move forward. Okay, now we move this high because we have a new area of interest. This is the fair value gaps there. Actually, yeah, we can actually move it here, because no, we can't because this is the latest bull candle before this move down, and then there's like bearish candles all the way down until here. Now I wait for a close above here before we look for a reversal. Unfortunately, there we go. All right, cool. So what are we looking for now? We're looking for a 50% retracement. So we have the break the low of the session. We have the breaker high here when this candle closed above here. Now we're waiting for a 50% pullback, and this is the last bearish candle before the move up, but that's also the latest candle with the lowest point on inside the session. So we can enter a trade here. And we can enter a trade here. One to two risk reward. All right. Now we wait. Unfortunately, we have to move our pip tool here. We go 1 to 1.5, because that's the new high. There's a new high that was created. All right. We actually tapped this into the 50% level, so we are already into that trade. All right, and we enter that trade as well. Price came all the way down until there, and then shoot up. Okay, so what happened here? Right, so we hit our 2 to 1 risk to reward take profit, and we also hit our take profit of this one. So why did this happen? Easy answer is the news. Remember, we need to have a look at the news as well. I did this on purpose actually to show you guys what's happening, because I have to make sure that I keep on watching the news as well. So let me show you guys what I mean. All right, so I'm going to quickly switch over to the news. So what happened on that day? This is what happened. This is exactly what happened. So basically, it was NFP 8:30. You see? And NFP is one of the big three news events. So NFP, FOMC, and CPI are the biggest news events that you need to take notice of. All the other red news events, yes, they are also very important, especially if Trump talks, President Trump, or if the Feds talk, basically the Federal Bank, the Reserve Bank. That's usually Powell. If he talks as well, then there's usually big movement. Let's see here. Let's see if somebody talks. Yeah, there we go. You see, something like this. When something like this happens, at that point in time, you stay away from the market completely. The thing is that anything can happen, anything can move, because whatever they say influence either positively or negatively, and you cannot predict what they're gonna say. So that's why you stay away when there's a presidential thing going on, and it's going to affect the US dollar. You see, the US dollar index. Then you know that's going to have an effect overall on the market. So let's see if we can catch something. Oh, there's another one. President Trump speaks. Fed Chair Powell. Yes, this is the one that I was talking about as well. So we are going to, in the future, just keep an eye on the news as well. So up until 30 minutes before this, so 9:30, I stop looking for entries to trades until this news event is done. At least 10 to 15 minutes after the news event is done. I'd say at least 10 minutes after the news event is done. Then you can start looking for a trade, or 15 minutes, up to you. Anyways, so we hit our take profit for this one. Cool, perfect. And now, what do? We stop trading for the day. Why? Because we've already hit a take profit during the London session, and this is Friday. So what do I do on a Friday? No trade on a New York session. So basically, since you have hit your take profit in London session, you are going to stop trading because you already made your capital during London session, and you move on to the next day. So let's just quickly update our right. So there's our entry model, which I've already put on there for you guys. Now this is the results for August 2025 that we are going to keep track of. So this one, we've hit our take profit with 1 to 5. If we risk, this is now based on risking 1% per trade. Then you get 1.5%, right? And this was also a good trade entry. We got 2 risk reward there. All right, so let's move on, right? Cool, let's move on to Monday of the next session, the next day. Okay, there's Asian session. There we go. Alright, we're going to stop at 2 AM because that's the start of London. Alright, so what are we going to do? We're going to switch back to daily. We're going to mark out the previous day sessions. You can clearly see here, that's a daily resistance level, right? And what else? So just ignore what Monday is currently, how does this candle look currently, right? Let's see what we are hitting now. So we're also hitting a daily fair value gap here, right? And there's another daily level here at the bottom, but it's so far down that I'm not going to take note of this one at this point in time. We can use it as a take profit level, for instance. But yeah, let's just see. What are we looking for? Breaking off the Asian session low or high. We actually broke with the Asian session low here already, but we haven't broken this high yet. All right, so waiting for the break of this high now. There we go. Now we wait for 50% retracement. There we go, which we do get here. So we do take a look for this at 30 points. I'd say 150 is fine. What is the order block trade that we're going to look for? This one here, because that's the candle that touches the lowest point. We enter here. And we aim for 1 to 2, yeah, 2 to risk reward. All right, this one we get a 1.5. There we go. All right, let's wait. Okay, we enter this one as well perfectly, right? So we hit this one, take profit. And we hit this one, take profit. How beautiful is that? So now we're done with London session. So what do we do now? We now mark out our wins and losses. Beautiful, beautiful trades. All right, let's move on to the New York. Oh, stop. We already hit the highest point here. And we broke this low. Just to be clear, right? If the low, okay, let's just take it one step at a time, right? So this was the high of the London session. Why? Because you see there's a turning point and there's wicks to the top. Now the highest body candle close closest to this high is this area here, and we've taken out the moment that New York opened, right? So now price basically went down close below this turning point here. If a turning point is like this, literally on the last two candles of the previous session, then it's still okay to use that as a low to be taken out, right? And obviously you can see this trade already played out. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to do this and then draw this level here, because I would have drawn this level the moment that price took out the high of the London session lows. Because what's happening now is, now you wait for a close below that level first, which happened here. All right, now you draw your fib. Okay, what is the candle with the wick to... There's the wick. There's the order block. So trade number one is this. We're at 30 points. And we aim for 1 to 1.5. And the other trade is here. And we aim for 2. There we go. And you wait. Okay, we entered that trade is now well. So we're basically in 2 trades right now. We hit our take profit there. And we hit our take profit. Well, basically it's up to you to decide. Do you want to keep this trade in the hands of the market or close it earlier? But we've already hit that one take profit, and we had already a take profit during the morning. But let's just stick to the strategy, right? Let's just do what we need to do. Let the market do its thing. Alright, so what I would have done is I would have had to close this trade. Well, actually the prop firm closes the trade on my behalf at the end of the day. So it would have closed it in profit at around... yeah, there we go, 6 p.m. So I would have already had like a 1. But you can take... Do you understand what I'm saying? You could have closed your trades here, but it's up to you. It's up to you to decide how you would like to close this trade. Let's just go by the rules, and the prop firm closes the account at, let's say, 1 risk to reward, right? But we definitely hit a take profit, a full take profit on that one day. Oh no, we're still on the same day, right? Let's do this. Okay, let's add a 1 to that, right? That's it. Then we move on to the next day. We're going to stop at 2. There we go. All right. So this is now Tuesday. We've taken out this low. Just keep in mind here on the daily time frame as well. The daily, I know the daily candle is not done yet, but just keep an eye. There's a very big daily fair value gap right here, right? And we are inside that daily fair value gap as we are right here. So there's a daily fair value gap level right here, a very big one. As you can see, okay, what is the golden rule is when the turning point, you see this is now further than 2 candles. This turning point is now further than 2 candles. So I would not count this. I would count this as a low of the session being taken, but I will not count it as a high being broken here, because this low is inside the previous session. So we wait for a new low to be formed. So for this low to be broken first. So right, so let's move on. Okay. I would count this as a new low, yes. Right, so this high is being broken. So what now? Now we wait for a 50% retracement, and then we can take a buy. All right. Why can we count this as a high? Because there is a fair value gap right there. So there we have an inverted fair value gap, the high being broken, and now we wait for the retracement. So let's take a look here. All right. And what is the order block? This one. Lowest point, lowest candle. And for 1 to 2. There we go. Alright, so now we wait for a retracement. Okay, we're going to adjust our FIB tool, but it's fine. It was so fast that there's no need to wait because it's already inside the 50% FIB. So we entered that trade there. We entered this trade as well, and we got stopped out. Alright, so that is a complete loss for London. This will be a -1 because we risk only 1 per trade, or -1% per trade. Alright, so now we move on to the next session, because the reason why I stop is because you will not know that you are trading against the trend unless you hit the stop loss, right? And what does stop loss mean? It says you stop at your loss. That's something very important that you guys need to learn. That's something I had to learn the hard way, because there's always a next session. This is only one session, right? So this is not the alpha and the omega of trading right now, and you must make your money back after you've hit the stop loss. There's no such thing. It's all in your head. Literally, your mindset is going to decide whether you make money in trading or not. So it's completely up to you. You need to stick to your rules, whatever rules you create for yourself, because otherwise you're never going to stay profitable in trading if you have a decent strategy, right? So like I said, it's up to you. Any case, let's move forward. All right, as you can see, price is going lower. You see what I mean by against the trend. All right, here's New York session. What am I going to wait for? I'm going to wait for session low to be broken or session high to be broken. Session high would be here, right there. And session low would be right there. Right, let's just do this. Now we're sitting and waiting. That's all that we do. Wait for price to reach either level. Right. Breakout of the high. Here we go. So what now? We wait for a close. Let's take this purple line. We wait for a close below that, because why? There's a fair value gap. The moment the price closes below this becomes automatically an inverted fair value gap. So now let's move forward. And also, the golden rule, we stop at 3 p.m. New York time. Oh, okay, so there's a few purple candles here as well. I think this is for previous sessions. Alright, that's fine. So taking a look at where the resistance are is also very important. So this is the previous day, this is the Asian session. And this is the New York session of the previous day. Right, so let's just give it some time. And there's also a near week opening gap right there. All right. No need for fair value gaps. Let's take a look at the news as well, eh? This is what? This is Tuesday. Any news that we should be aware of? Tuesday. This Tuesday. Any news that we should be aware of? Yes. 10 a.m. Are we already past 10 a.m.? Yeah, that was this candle here. There we go. That was the news. So just bear in mind, I also made this mistake right now. Very important to keep on watching the news. If you entered a trade here 5 minutes before the news, immediately rule broken, they give you a warning on your prop firm account because you are trading the news. So it's very important to stay on top of the news. All right, so here we have a fair value gap that was created. We can actually, it's a very small one. You see, this is why I love this fair value gap indicator, because you can immediately see which candles has a fair value gap in them, yes or no, right? So here we have a fair value gap, very small one. So what can we do? We've already broken below this low here. Right. Where's that purple line? There we go. We already broken below that. Now we wait for a retest of the order block. Or the 50% level. Go right. Let's just do that. Let's just quickly do this. Let's just do what we need to do, right? At 30 points. 63. Yeah, 33, 63. Right, there we go. 1.5. Right. And where's the order block trade? The order block trade would be that there. And we aim for 2. It's literally the same trade. Same entry. Alright guys, let's just do this. Okay, we entered both trades. And now we wait. Boom. Take profit on both of them. Do you guys see how important it is to know where exactly the fair value gaps are? Because this is crucial part to my entry model. And if a fair value gap is crucial to your entry model, you need to make something or implement something that's mechanical for you to easily see where there are fair value gaps, to make it easier on your eyes. In this case, what I did was the fair value gap indicator highlights the candle with a specific, let's say if it's a bullish candle, just a lighter shade of blue. And if it's a bearish fair value gap like this one, just a lighter shade of black. In this case, just gray, right? And it makes it so much easier for me to spot the fair value gaps. And take a look at this. How beautiful is this trade that we caught, right? I hope you guys get something out of this, because this helps me. Me doing this helps myself an insane amount. And that's why it's very important for me to have this in place, have this in place for me, because it makes just my life so much easier, right? All right, so let's move on. Actually, we need to update our wins and losses. This was for what? This was for Tuesday. What's this? 5 August. It's still the same day. So what did we win, right? So instead of -1, we are now on 0.5. Great. Instead of -1, we are now on 1. Great. There we go. And let's move on to Wednesday. Alright, here we go. Asian session. Okay, before we move on, let's just watch the news again, right? So, no news Wednesday. Alright, let's move back. Okay, let's also remove that purple line there. Alright, so London opened. I should have stopped here, but as you can see now, price already broken out here. On this, whoops, what am I doing? Price already broken out here. There we go. Cool. There we go. So what is the low that needs to be watched here? Not this low, because this is inside the previous session. If the low was here, for instance, then it was a different story. But since it's here, no, right? We have this low to focus on, because let's do this. That's the low. Break and close below that line. We haven't closed below that line yet, you see? All right, let's move forward. Now we close below that line. What are we waiting for now? We're waiting for a retest. Let's just quickly see where is the low of the session. Right there. All right, let's move forward. Okay, we entered this trade here. Great. And what is the order block? This one is actually the order block. So the order block entry is here as well. Insane. Right there. All right. So we entered this trade here. At 30 points. This is 83, so it's 113. All right. Aim for 1 to 1.5. There we go. And then the other trade is here. So it's up to you how you would really like to handle this order block trade. Like I said, this is an experimentation for me to enter off the order blocks only. I have a very small personal account that attends for these trades. Okay, guys, let's just wait. We are now in both trades. And now we wait. And we got stopped out. Alright, cool. So this is Wednesday. Got stopped out. So -1 here. Oops. Whoa, what am I doing? -1 here. And -1 here. Alright, let's move forward. Okay, we could count that as a stop loss, 100%. But just take a look at where are we. We are already at some form of a daily resistance, right? So just bear that in mind. Here's also a daily fair value gap. Right there. We're literally on the verge of that fair value gap. Right here. We're already inside that fair value gap. Daily fair value gap. Alright, let's just keep an eye on it, right? So we're done with London anyways because we hit the stop loss. So let's just move forward until 9. Alright, we stopped because we are on the New York session. We already took out the London high. We are still inside this daily level here. What is the order block? The daily order block that's closest. The last bullish candle before the move down is this. So let's just do this. Just keep an eye on that for now. There's also an inverted fair value gap here. Right there on the daily time frame. Alright. Guys, just keep in mind. There's your low level. Because there's a fair value gap, right? Right, there's the new low level. Because there's a fair value gap. And we haven't closed below that yet, right? So we just keep an eye on it. There's now a fair value gap here. So this is actually the new low. And we just keep an eye on it. There's actually now the new low. You see, this is very important as to watch price. You need to be awake and you need to watch price. Like literally 90% to 95% of my time is literally just sitting and watching price. That's all. That's crucial. Crucial, crucial, crucial. Let's wait. Yeah, now price closed below that level. What are we waiting for now? We're waiting for a retest for a sell. Because it took out the London high session and price just started rocketing up. Alright, so enter off this trade there. Okay, let's make it 120. 1.5. There we go, 1.5. And what's the order block? It's this candle right there. This bearish candle. This bearish candle. And that's the wick of that bearish candle. We aim for 2. Risk to reward. There we go. We entered this trade. And we got stopped out. We actually entered both of these trades and we got stopped out. It is what it is, right? Nothing you can do about it. And like I said, there was no news on Wednesday. So there's not much you can do about it. If you hit the stop loss, you hit the stop loss. That's it. And then you move on with your life. So let's go here. And we add this as -2, -2. And we just move on. Alright, cool. Right, let's now move on to the next day, which is Thursday, right? Let's just clear all this clutter for now. Alright. Okay, so this is now for Thursday, the 7th of August. Okay, that's the that's the daily inverted fair value gap that I've marked out here. This is a very good resistance level, and there's the daily order block as well, very close. So London immediately took out the high, and it took out this low, but this low is inside the previous session, right? It's too much into the previous session, so you wait for a new low to be formed. So let's just wait. And this is the time now when you literally sit and wait. Nothing else to do. Nothing else you can do. There we go. New low formed the moment that this candle closed. Of course, there's a fair value gap here. Okay, as you can see here on the right hand side, we're still inside this daily fair value gap. This is the daily inverted fair value gap. There's a new fair value gap there, so that is your low that you need to wait for. Price closed below it, so now we wait for a 50% retest of the fib. Okay, 116 or it's 146. There we go, and we aim for 1 to 1.5. There we go. And the order block entry is this candle there. Okay, I'm gonna stick with my rules by just literally doing this. And 1 to 2 risk reward. Here we go. Let's wait for retest. There we go. We got our retest. Entry of this one here. We barely... I would say we entered this one. Yes or no? That's your decision. Let's just quickly see what price does next. Technically, it did not hit that entry. And it's a very, very big shame that it did not hit that entry, because you see what's price doing now. It would have hit the take profit. It well, almost hit the take profit for 1 to 2 risk reward. It's such a shame. So you might as well just entered both trades of the 50%, but it's up to you how you would like to handle it. I'll count this as a win on a technicality, on literally the finest, smallest technicality that you can think of. How much pips away was this entry? That's 882, right? 880. 2 points. And to be honest with you guys, the entries for this order block, I add 5 to 10 points. Like at least 5 to 10 points. So I would have entered either here, 877 or 872. I would have entered this order block entry. That's how I handle my entries on my trading account, right? So I would have entered this trade myself, and I would have exited the trade there. Well, there we go in any case. So I would handle this as a win. Absolutely. Right? So this is 1.5. And this is 2. Absolutely beautiful. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. Let's clear all this clutter. And we move on to the New York time frame. Here we go. All right, New York open. So where's the low? Right there. We actually took the low. Right. There we go. Where's the low here? The high here. That's there. Right. Okay, so we took the London session low. Now we wait. Do we have an entry model? No, we don't. Why? Do you see any fair value gaps? No. If the answer is no, you just wait. There's nothing else you can do. You just wait. Also, where are we right now? We are above this. We actually broke out of this support, the resistance level, which now can be turned into a support level. So you could see a possible upside movement. That's just up to the market to decide, right? Okay, now we move that high here. Now we move the high here. Okay, we broke above it. There's our Fib 2. There's the first trade. Okay, 8-4. 114. 1.5. And to be completely honest with you guys, the order block trade that I am looking for, if price is like this at this moment, I would have entered here after 50%. If price retrace on the 50%. Easily. At that point in time, obviously. But if price goes up higher, then you can say, alright, you can enter off the order block. So let's just wait. Let's just wait. Nothing else you can do about it. You just wait. And you adjust your Fib tool. And your entries. Of course, you have to adjust your entries as well. So here, our entries are now here. Roughly. Alright, let's just move forward. Okay, now price is starting to go down. That there. And then the order block entry would come from this line there. Aim for 1 to 1.5. I wanted 2, sorry. 1 to 2. Also keep in mind, no new trade entries at 3 p.m. New York. Wow, we entered both of those trades very close to 3 p.m. Okay, right. Now we wait. Now we wait. And you would not believe me, but take a look at that. Take profit hit for both trades. Absolutely amazing, right? So what do? We add it to our take profit for, yeah, 3, 4. Absolutely beautiful trading week, right? Insane. And now we move on to the next day. So let's now move on to Friday, which is the 8th of August. We're going to stop at 2 a.m. There we go. London. Okay. London just barely took out the low. But we do not have a point of reference yet. We don't have a point of reference. We don't have a point of reference. What needs to happen... Okay, this is exactly what I wanted to say. What needs to happen is we need to break this low, and then we have a new high there that we can use as a entry model, because there's your fair value gap. Right, let's move. Let's just do away with that purple line there. So what do we have on the daily time frame? We have there's a lot of clutter here. Let's just quickly clean up a little bit. All right. So what do we have here? We have a daily fair value gap sitting here. Right there. All right, there we go. So let's just give it some time. Okay, there's a new high that we can make use of. Yes, we closed above it. All right, so now we can actually legitimately look for a buy here. And we wait for a 50% retest. $120. 1.5. And the order block entry would be this bullish candle right here. Right there. One to two. And we entered both trades. And price started reversing. And hit the take profit of the order block trade. Beautiful. So this take profit is hit. And this one is not hit yet. Let's just give it some time. And we hit take profit on that one as well. What an absolutely beautiful trading week. Absolutely insane. Insane. I can't explain to you. This is textbook, right? For me, this is an absolute textbook trading week. Take a look at this. How insane is this? Let's count our profits, right? And just to be clear, my rule is no trade during Friday New York session. So we're basically done with the week, right? So for the week of, what's this now? Up until 8 August. Let's say up to 8 August 2025. Let's just to keep track, right? Basically the first week of August. Let's count this. 1.5, 2.5. So that's 4, right? 4.5 minus 2, 2.5. 2.5 plus 3, 5.5. 5.5 plus 1.5 equals 7%. That's absolutely insane. 2, 4, so that's 6. 7 minus 2 is 5. Plus 4 is 9. Plus 2 is 11%. That's a percent. If you risk 1 to 1, if you just risk 1% per trade on your capital for that week. So now I'm gonna start going on to the next week.